if you was out here hustling that hard to get your product out there, you had to sew up your area, you had to sew up your community, you had to sew up your state to the point where you was pressing and you was getting your buzz. Then you would have to leave and travel and go and move out of state. You have to move around. You have to go to different areas just so your name can be known. In this day and age, all you got to do is, you can record something, upload it onto a platform, and push it with a press of a button, a couple of links, learn how to get a couple of links made to tie to your social media, and you press it and you can reach thousands of people.
Don't be shy, let's take a ride.
What's up, YouTube world? You're now tuned in to Scenario the Illustrated, and I'm back again with another video. And the topic I'll be touching on today is, these are some key facts on why YouTube is beneficial. Yes, you heard it. These are some key facts on why YouTube is beneficial. Boom, let's dive off into it. YouTube is a platform for anybody that's out there that's trying to grow, that's building. If you have something that you're trying to profit and benefit off of, YouTube is one of the platforms to get tapped into. One, it puts you in a headspace of knowing that you can get whatever you're trying to sell in the message out there faster. I come from an era, many moons ago, where it took a little bit longer. Meaning, say you're doing music, and we talking about the early 90s, the late 80s, early 90s, when it went from cassettes, then from cassettes, it transferred to CDs. This is long before social media, smartphones, smart TVs, computers have evolved to what it is today. Long before. Even like YouTube and everything that's what's happening right now. Back then, I remember it was a time that, just say, if you into music and you get your music pressed up. I remember the cassette era, the cassette stage that I lived through. You have to go get your cassette made if you was an artist or anybody that was making music. And once you get your cassette, if you didn't have no distribution, you was selling your cassette out the trunk of your car or in front of liquor stores. And if you didn't have relationships with some of these music stores that sold music, you didn't have no distribution deal, you was getting it from the muscle. You was getting it from the muscle. You was selling it to any and every person that you came in contact with. You always had a copy of your music, and if you was out here hustling that hard to get your product out there, you had to sew up your area, you had to sew up your community, you had to sew up your state to the point where you was pressing and you was getting your buzz. Then you would have to leave and travel and go and move out of state. You have to move around. You have to go to different areas just so your name can be known. In this day and age, all you got to do is, you can record something, upload it onto a platform, and push it with a press of a button, a couple of links, learn how to get a couple of links made to tie to your social media, and you press it and you can reach thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people. It all depends on your budget. You get instant access to a variety of people that you never even met, never even knew you existed. You didn't live this long for this X amount of years, But the minute you get on a platform such as YouTube and you put yourself out there, then boom, you in people's faces. You know, they never know, but first impression is the last impression. Whatever you put out there, if you good and you talented and people's reading your mind and they tapping into what you got to say, and you make sense, you know, they gonna tap in, you know. But the engine at YouTube, that's how powerful it is. When you can put yourself out there, if you have talents and have skills that you want to share with people, and not just, you know, talents and skills, if you can connect with your tribe. You can find your tribe. You can find your group of people that is on the same page as you, and that's how people tap in and start connecting with you. You can meet people in different areas, you know, not necessarily it's always got to be the area that you live in. You know, you meet people all across the country, all across the world, you know, in different continents, in different countries. Like, YouTube plays a major role if you play it smart. You play it the way it needs to be played. I only been on YouTube for this X amount of time, and I've already met a plethora of people. Like it's crazy. My phone won't stop blowing up, and I'm not even like huge yet, you know. I'm planning to get bigger. That's the goal, you know. But just the little I have already done, my phone is like jumping, like, you know, like I'm serving, you know. I'm serving content, you know. But at the end of the day, I realize how strong YouTube, the platform, is. Even though I'm still in the process of waiting to get monetized and get that, you know, that silver press play button. You know, I'm still benefiting and eating in the meantime. Like, you know, through the things I'm able to, you know, provide services. You know, things I'm able to sell, and, you know, the relationships I'm able to forge, and the people I'm able to interact and communicate with. You know, I feel like if you are original, you're authentic, and you're a real person, people will tap in eventually. You know, people can tell who's fake and who's real. You know, at the end of the day, if you come in with clarity and you come into YouTube with a pure heart and an understanding, and you focus and you locked in and you're able to get a message out there for people to relate to and understand, and they understand why you doing what you're doing, you know, then that's when it will naturally grow. You know, I feel like it will grow faster once people get to understand your personality and your get down, you know, and why you are doing what you're doing, you know. And a lot of people, you know, it may not be for a lot of people too. A lot of people are closed off and more private. Me, I know for a fact that as I put a play together and I'm creating what I'm creating, I can't be closed off and private. I gotta, you know, I have to put myself out there. This was something that I was kind of skeptical on, is because I'm really a recluse type of a person. You know, not saying that I can't stand my own ground and be out here in the world and deal with people mentally direct. You know, I'm good at, you know, communication. My communication is from my perspective is decent, you know. So I know how to get my point across and know how to get the message out there for people to understand where I'm coming from. But I also know that it took me time to get to this point, to be like, you know, it's time for me to start stepping outside the box. It's time for me to start, you know, moving different. If I want more out of life, I feel like with anybody, if you want more out of life and you want better for your life, you have to think outside the box. You got to get out of your you got to get uncomfortable. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You got to get uncomfortable. You got to be able to, you know, strengthen your communication skills in order for people to catch on and get the message. You know, not necessarily mean that even if you do that, everybody is gonna like you. Everybody is not gonna like you. Everybody's not gonna be on the same page as you. At the end of the day, you know, I'm not trying to put myself out here to be liked by everybody. You know, that's just a fact. You know, me personally, I don't care to that degree. You know, so how I look at it is that, you know, if you want anything out of life in general, for sure YouTube is going to play a major role until like another platform comes along and rivals YouTube, and you probably going to use that. But in the meantime, YouTube is one of the top platforms that's out here where you are able to think outside the box when it comes to creativity and when it comes from you growing as a human being, period. So if you are a person, an entrepreneur, or anybody that's the plan is to grow and be a better version of yourself, my best bet is to tap into this YouTube platform and get busy and promote or put whatever message that you need to put out there, and find your tribe, find your group of people that understands where you coming from, that's on the same page as you. But YouTube for sure is one of the top main platforms that can help you reach that and obtain that goal, if through consistency and through you having a game plan. You have everything mapped out, so you can so it can put you in a headspace of, all right, you get your followers, you get the views, you get the fans, but none of that will come if you don't have a play put together. Before you even get involved with it, at least have an idea. You ain't got to be perfect when you approach it. You get what I'm saying? You don't have to be perfect when you approach the platform, because you can just start, and in a process of you starting, you can figure it out along the way, but you just got to start. And I've been hearing that with a lot of people in other people's videos when they say just start. Now, it never really clicked to me on why they were saying that. It's because that when you start, you can begin to train the algorithm. You can begin to train the system, so it can pick up on what the messages and what you're trying to do. But what it's trying to, it needs to figure. It's going to take some time for it to be sent in a direction where it needs to go. You can't perfect the craft, and you can't perfect the reality of what you're doing if you don't start. Basically, what I'm saying, just start. Just start. And get busy and start going in a direction and handle your business and don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Don't put too much off onto it, and you'll learn and you get better as time goes on. Especially when you dive off into this platform, you'll learn and you'll dive off into it, and you'll get better as time goes on. You'll eventually get better. That's a scientific fact, because when I started, I wasn't good at it. I was good enough. I'm not going to say I wasn't good at it, but, I was kind of skeptical, and I was kind of, like I said, it goes back to what I said earlier in the video. I'm a recluse type of a person. I'm very recluse, but I realized that in order for me to put out there the message and sell whatever I need to sell and get my talents and my skills and my abilities and my music out there, I have to get out that recluse mode, But other than that, these are some of the key facts on why YouTube is beneficial. I'm just sharing my end of my conversation with, on a video to let people know, there's for sure beneficial tactics that comes with what I'm doing, or anybody that decides to start doing YouTube. You can benefit it for sure, and it's not like it's the only platform that has those same type of principles. There's multiple platforms that's out that can help do the same thing. Like I said, I only been on social media only for a small period of time. I haven't been on here, and I've already had a bunch of inquiries and a bunch of, business plans that through YouTube. Of course, many other platforms, social media websites, but for sure, YouTube is one of them. for sure YouTube is one of them, you know. So like I said, anybody that wants to dive off into, especially if you are business oriented, YouTube is one of the platforms for sure that I advise you tap into it. You know, it's not going to jump off right away when you want it to jump off. You know, it's going to take a little bit of time through consistency. But what I'm saying is that if you stay on top of it and stop being bashful, stop being shy, you know, don't be bashful and shy, you know, go ahead, let these people know who you are, you know, and what you got to bring to the table. But this was just something that was on my mind, on my heart, something I need to get off my chest, you know. But in the meantime, remember, stay blessed, stay 10 toes down, and keep your head on a swivel at all times. Peace.